right. Well, looks like we're pretty close to quorum. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this meeting started. Good evening, everyone. Glad to see everyone in attendance, especially, oh, hold on. There we go. Oh, there we go. Glad to see everyone in attendance, and without further ado, I would like to call this meeting of the Children's Guild DC Public Charter School to order on September 9th, 2024. First order of business on the agenda is public comment. And it's crazy how it's already a third of the way through September, which means October is right around the corner. These years fly by. That stated, with the new board getting established this year, as we're listening to the reports and updates, I'd really like us to listen with an ear towards the school year 2025-26. So we do encourage questions of the school and engaging with the information that's presented. We also have the task to begin in earnest our preparation and identification of issues that we can improve upon for the next school year, because it's going to be here before we know it. With that, we are now open for additional public comments. If anyone wishes to provide a comment, you can do so now. Raise your hand or let us know. All right. Having heard no other additional comments, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is a review of the minutes. We always ask that the board members review the minutes prior to arrival. Even so, I'll give the board a couple of minutes to review the minutes from the last meetings before we move to take a vote on it. Maybe a minute I'll give you guys. Anybody have any questions about the minutes? Okay, I'm requesting a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I get a second of that motion?
I second.
Thank you so much. Sorry? Okay. So having heard the second of the motion, all those all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
And then all those who are opposed, nay, or raise your hand. Having heard no opposition, the minutes of the board meeting from the previous meeting have been approved. And we will now go to the next agenda item, which is our new board members. At this time, I'll ask Hughes to introduce the new board members, and of the new members, if we could refresh everyone on the board, what brings you to the Children's Guild DCPCS, where you're from, maybe how long you've been in the area, and any hobbies you'd like us to know about.
So I'll start with introduce myself. So I'm Hughes Johnson. I am the Chief Administrative Officer for the Children's Guild and work with the DC school. Been working with Brian and Frank and Dr. Jackson for quite a while now, and I've learned a lot from them. So I appreciate, and hobby, anything outside. It's anything outside. So I'll take that. Do we just want to go around and have people introduce themselves? Ms. Edwards, we're glad to have you with us tonight. Roderick, everybody that's here. So we can just go around and do introductions.
Yeah, that's fine. I was thinking that the new members would introduce themselves, and then we can go with the whole board.
Okay.
I can start.
Okay,
Should I?
great. Thank you.
Okay, sure. My name is Tiffany Edwards. I am the Chief People Officer at Building Hope, which is an educational nonprofit with 3 different divisions of finance, real estate, and school services division. So I support school services as well as being the Chief People Officer for the whole organization. I started my career 25 years ago as a middle school science teacher and have had every job there is to have at a school since then. Hobbies, I'm sort of in the mommy zone right now. I have 2 kids in college and a sophomore in high school. So I'm in the big feelings phase of my life with everyone back on campus now. But other than that, I love to cook and anything involving kids. It's really important to me. So I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you, Tiffany.
Hey, everybody. My name is Roderick Thompson. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I've lived in the DC area in Upper Marlboro for the last 30 years. I am an attorney, most recently a trial lawyer at the Public Defender Service for the District of Columbia. So unfortunately, I have seen the education system and how that kind of impacts folks and how they come across my desk far too often. I have 2 children, a senior and a junior in high school. So I'm going through the gauntlet of early admissions and scholarships and all of that. As far as hobbies, I was a competitive swimmer at Howard University. That was over 20 years ago and over 60 pounds ago. But nevertheless, I try, and that kind of dovetails into another interest of mine, which is a nonprofit that I serve on diversity in aquatics. And I actually serve as the general counsel for Diversity in Aquatics. It's a nationwide nonprofit that educates and promotes research around minorities and those who have traditionally not held access to aquatic sports. So other than that, I am extremely honored for the invite. And I look forward to learning more about the Children's Guild and hopefully having a hand in some of the future steps here.
Get that, of course. And then I don't think Nina is here. At least I don't see her on the list. So we'll have to wait to get her introduction when she comes. As a matter of fact, I'll text her, find out what is going on there. And then I'll introduce myself. My name is Robert C. Brooks. I am the chair of the board here for the Children's Guild Public Charter School. I've been the chair for about 3 years. I guess it's coming up on the end of my term in this position. Been living in the district since 2001. Graduated from Howard, of course, as well. Graduated from Howard Law School too in 98. Hobbies, I mentioned earlier, fantasy football, that's one of them, of course, and like to do a lot of traveling. Just came back from Singapore, as a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, actually for Labor Day weekend, a week before Labor Day weekend. And that was a fun trip, different place, beautiful place. But and that's what I'm pretty much into, a lot of traveling and of course helping out when I can around here. In my day job, I work for the Department of General Services, which is the agency that builds and manages public schools for the district, as well as provides the security and does all the maintenance for municipal buildings. We don't do security for the schools. That's a whole different bag of tricks that has to go on with that. But everything else pretty much goes through the Department of General Services for the district. Brian?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Daniels. I am currently serving in the capacity as the manager and supporter of community engagement, specifically in the District of Columbia at this moment, and looking forward to making some connections to support our Maryland side of the organization as well. I have been with the Children's Guild now for 22 years. I just got that announcement and my little Paycom update. So my anniversary just passed, and so I'm feeling real old right about now. But I was the founding assistant principal for the Children's Guild DC Public Charter School. 2 years later, became the principal and vacated that seat to the phenomenal Frank Medley for this current school year, and excited to see where he takes the school and how he continues to develop what was started, and know he's going to do a phenomenal job. As far as me, I am a an avid DIYer. I do a lot of things around the house. Now that I think about it, have done some things at some of the folks on this phone, on this call's homes as well. And when I'm not DIYing, I am attempting to work on my golf game whenever I get the opportunity to do that. And so along with our two new board members, I am just really about everything children. So if there are children involved, I want to be a part. So just wanted to specifically welcome the two of you and thank our two new board members for coming on board, and looking forward to the work that I know you are going to do, and the new energy that you are going to bring to this board, that we are looking to really reestablish and support the school to the best of our ability. So thank you again for giving your time, and looking forward to working with you all. And I will pass it to the new principal.
Good evening, everyone. A special welcome to our new board members. I'm Frank Medley. I joined the Guild in 2021 as an assistant principal. I worked under the tutelage of Brian Daniels for 3 years, and I'm the new proud principal of the Children's Guild. I started my education in my career in education in 1998, so this is year 27 for me in this field. Before coming to the Guild, I worked in DC Public Schools, Howard County Public Schools, and also Anne Arundel County Public Schools. So I've been around for a while. Hobby. Everybody knows I'm a big volleyball person. So I played Division I volleyball in college. I was a junior Olympian, and now I coach. I haven't decided if I'm going to coach this season because there's a lot of work involved in my new role, and I may not have time to devote to the sport. But nevertheless, I'm super excited to be here, and looking forward to changing the narrative of our school. And I will turn it over to Dr. Jackson.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our new board members. Thank you, Frank Medley. I was giving you the side eye because we had the conversation about you not doing volleyball, but another conversation. I have been with the Children's Guild since its start. I have been in education. This is year 23. All things special education is my wheelhouse. I love working with children, with learning. I always say learning opportunities, because I believe that inside of every struggling child lives a successful one. But I also love the opportunity to educate our parents as well in that space. I love being at the Children's Guild, having been under the leadership of Brian Daniels prior to Frank Medley, and it's still very seamless, where we really are a school that really cares about all the unique needs of all of our children. And I'm so thankful that I get the opportunity to serve as the special education director. I feel like in my life where I am now, very similar to Ms. Edwards, kind of in a space of transitioning. I have my oldest daughter graduated from college and decided that she was going to move to Philly, and I am not okay. And she's been there and doing her own thing, and doing great things. She fought education for a long time, as she was a theater major, and she is now teaching dramatization to third graders. And so I am happy and very proud, but I'm still not okay. And then sent my middle daughter away to college to follow in the footsteps. She is majoring in secondary education with a concentration in physics. She did not get that from me. And my youngest daughter is a junior. So in spare time without being mommy and navigating, learning to not be a helicopter mom and a submarine mom, my roles have changed. And so I'm trying to navigate that. And in my spare time, I love also, can't forget my fur baby, who keeps the house going. But in my spare time, I love to thrift. Any thrift store, any good finds, I want to be right there with it. So welcome again. And I will pass it on to sorry, I'm trying to look at my screen so I could see, Miss Carter.
Hello, everyone. I am Francesca Carter. I am, as of Dr. Jackson, a founding employee or member of the Children's Guild. This is my 27th year in education. I started teaching at Friendly High School, and I did that for 12 years, and then just navigated from Montessori to middle school, also in PG, until I arrived here at the Guild. Again, my passion is children. I started off as the health teacher at the Guild, and so now I'm here as Dean of Academics for middle school. So, I do appreciate our organization and allowing us to grow within and pour within each other. I have a junior in college, second semester junior, and so she'll be graduating in December of 2025 at Virginia State. I am a 4-month in dog mom of Nico Dre Carter, who's under my feet. And now it's just winding down. It's just sleep and cocktails and conversations and just having nothing to do. I used to do into cheer, but I gave that up a couple of years ago. So I'm just spending my time now traveling back and forth to watch my daughter cheer at Virginia State.
The official first interview and first hire of TCGDC.
And I'm gonna pass it on I'm gonna give it to you, Lou. You have your mic off and ready to roll.
Thank you so much. My name is Louis Hubner, and I am the Managing Director of Finance. I joined the Guild in 2010, and I've had my hands on the DC books for quite a few years. My senior accountant, Tiffany Jones, is responsible for the books, but not an expert, but close to it. I would say my hobby is being outside as well, similar to Hugh's, but I to the extent I can, cycle on a rail trail close to where I live. That is a passion of mine. And I will pass it to Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. Welcome again to the board members. And I am Elizabeth Garcia. I am the Chief Program Officer. I've worn a number of chief hats, from Chief People Officer, Chief Clinical Officer. So I've done a lot of things at the Guild. I've been at the Guild for just about 12 years. I am a clinical social worker by training. I worked in foster care, residential, adoption, most recently outpatient mental health. I ran the outpatient mental health program that we have at the Children's Guild. And like Brian, I love all things children and families. That's really what drives me, and my commitment and passion helps me get through the crazy of being part of a big organization. And for hobbies, I like to knit. I like to read, and I also like to travel. I have an Australian Labradoodle, Lucy, who takes up a lot of my time. And I also most recently started adopting elephants So from the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust Fund. So that is one of my newest passions.
She's not joking, guys. It's for real. Okay, it's a whole thing.
And I'll pass it to Renisha.
Well, like you guys. Hi, everybody. Renisha East at Franklin. You guys are kicking your kids out to college. Mine just started daycare. Okay, so I started like, well, I waited until everyone. I'm the baby of 7, so I have lots and lots of nieces and nephews. But just like everyone else on the call, I've been in education. Literally every job I've ever had my entire life has been in education. And also year one, I'm not day one with DC, but I am year one, so I still make the OG cut. They told me this when I started, so I'm holding on to that, okay? But I mean, it's been an amazing journey through and through. I now am the vice president of program operations for all of our school programs. So much fun, but DC is always home for me and they will always be my baby. So, all right, Miss Knox, you go.
Good evening. I'm Kendall Knox. I've been with the Guild since 2016. This is my year 24 for me in education. I've been in DC, PG, charter schools. When I started the Guild, I was the 5th grade math teacher, then the 6th grade math teacher, then instructional coach, and now I'm the dean of academics for kindergarten and 5th grade. My heart was in middle school, but they put me down with the babies, and it has been an adventure, to say the least. What I like to do, I'm a shoe girl, so I have shoes for days. That's what I do. I love shoe shopping, and I always have my nails done. So you can guarantee I'm gonna have on a fresh pair of shoes, and my nails are going to be done.
Max. Jess.
Oh, I gotta pass it to someone. Shelby, are you there? Shelby? Okay. I'm gonna pass it to Jess. Are you ready, Jess?
Hello. Sorry, you guys are gonna hear Miss Rachel in the background. My name is Jess. I have been in education. This is my 18th year. Before that, I was in the military for 8 years. I was a medic in the military. I'm a teacher in Arlington. I went back to the classroom this year. I was an instructional coach for the past 2 years. And then I said, I miss it. So I'm with 5th grade babies this year. And I'm glad I made the switch back. I don't have hobbies because I have a almost 14-month-old that keeps me busy. And his fur brother, Bruno, also keeps me busy. I used to run. Rob and I used to run together in District Running Collective. I used to run all the time. Rob knows. I do not run all the time. I run after Hendrix now, which is my son. But anything kiddo, I am down for. I have taught in DC. I've taught in Florida. I've taught in New York, and I've taught in New Jersey. I was a foster parent in Florida, and so I've done many things. I feel like I've lived many lives. So anything for kiddos, I'm down for, and an advocate for kids 1,000%, because they are a priority no matter what. And I love to read. So anything reading or any reading program or anything like that, I'm always like, my ear is always like, huh, what'd you say? So I was a reading an interventionist in DC when I worked in DC. So that's it. So yep. And you hear Miss Rachel in the background. So that's it. That's my life. I'm sorry. Let me see if did everybody go? I didn't know if everybody Yes, Shelby, there you go. Okay, I was like, wait, were you there?
I was switching from my laptop to my phone. But hi guys, my name is Shelby Camfor. This is my 9th year in education. I started on the school bus working for the Guild, and now I've worked my way up from TBA to personal assistant, administrative assistant for Mr. Daniels and Mr. Metley. Plus I'm doing a jack of all trades for Miss Carter, Miss Knox, and everybody else that needs me. My hobbies, I love fashion, I love food and traveling, especially sports. I wrote in the chat earlier that I won my first parlay on Friday. So I'm excited to be a part of this team. It is new, and I'm sitting over here jotting down every single minute because I'm still learning how to do this. So bear with me.
The foodie. Angelo?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. My name is Angelo Wong. I've been with the board since June of 2020 now. And it's been a pleasure. So welcome. In my personal life, I work for IBM as a technology sales person, specifically in cybersecurity. For fun, I mean, travel, food, outside, anything that keeps me active and with others. Big family person. So yeah, looking forward to working with you guys moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, everybody, for sharing all that information about yourselves. Hopefully, we'll be able to connect on some of these hobbies and interests outside of our meetings. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities. And at some point, we will probably reintroduce having the mixed meeting of in-person and virtual. Now that the COVID situation has kind of calmed down enough where people aren't as skittish about that anymore. So look forward to meeting you guys in person when that starts to resume. That said, I guess at this point we will move to the next agenda point, which is the principal's report. Mr. Medley.
Good evening again, everyone. I'm just going to load up. If someone could give me rights to share, I can get that started. But we welcomed our teachers back on August the 5th. I know it's kind of early, but we also ended early. So we ended, I think, on June the 7th. And so our students, we welcomed them back on the 19th. So our teachers had 2 weeks of pre-service, jam-packed with this year's theme of embracing change. And so we read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? And I have the 4 characters here. And if you haven't had an opportunity to read the text, it's a really short read that talks about the 4 different ways of how we deal with change. And so this is going to be a really quick presentation of what has been happening since then. So one of the things that we started this year was creating so there's a lot of educational jargon here, so I'll explain. PLCs are professional learning collaborations, and so we put every teacher and TA in our building in a PLC based upon the strengths of each cluster. We started that groundwork on day 1, and that initiated sort of like, our embracing change. And if you haven't read the text, the cheese is used as a metaphor, right? And so we've talked about how, Mr. Daniels had been at the helm all these years. And so he's left, an indelible mark within our building. But now with me being there, things have shifted, and so the cheese has shifted and changed. And so we did a lot of work with that, and one day we actually served cheese to the staff just to bring it all together. Just some clips of what we did to build some team spirit here. So our back to school night was held last Wednesday, and it was a blast. We had a lot of families show up to see what the Guild is about. We have welcomed over 60 new families this year, and it has been a great transition for them. So we had a photo booth, and I just captured some pictures here of some new and old families that were really, really excited about what we had planned for that evening. So we are still unpacking our CAPE data. So for those of you who don't know, DC is still a park school. So we administer the park test. They have since then changed the name to CAPE. And so we had about 86% of our students participate in the ELA test, and 85% of our students participated in the math test. And we will have that data for our next meeting. We did see some growth in both ELA and math. We had a couple of our middle school students reach a level 4 in math. We're really proud of them and all the hard work that they endured during that school year of last year. On this slide, we have our current enrollment data. So currently, we have 247 students enrolled, and we have seen 246 of them. And we just worked really tirelessly over the summer. A lot of the legwork was done by our supervisor of admissions, Ashley Posey, who's not on the call tonight, but we have over 60 new families, and we're really pleased with where the numbers are. So we have 247 who are actually enrolled in our student information system. We've seen all but one, and we have about 24 students who we have extended waitlist offers for. And for whatever reason, some parents are going to their neighborhood schools and kind of see, you know, what's going on there. And we had a parent today call at 4 o'clock who her child goes to one of the neighborhood DCPS schools, just wanted to see if things were changed, and did not see a change. And so we will have a new student starting tomorrow. So their enrollment will reflect 248 with 247. So, you know, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with how DC works, but, you know, parents have to apply and enroll using My School DC. And parents can pick where their children would like to go within the neighborhood. And for high schools, you know, a lot of high schools in DC are application schools where students can apply to attend. On this Friday, which is dubbed as the National Day of Service, we're going to have a beautification day. And we would love if any of you here, we know it's kind of short notice, but we will share calendars with you moving forward. We applied for a garden grant, and we were awarded funds for that. And so this is the outside of our 5th grade classroom, and this is going to happen on Wednesday. So we received a modest stipend to start this garden. We recognize that a lot of our students live in areas where they may not have grass, even at our own school. You know, there's a lack of grass and outdoor grass. And so this would give an opportunity for kids to take ownership of growing vegetables and plants. And so we have stations planned out. Station 1 is going to be about nutritional facts about fruits and vegetables and flowers. Station 2, we're going to have students paint stick labels to stick into the ground. Station 3, students are going to have paint pen designs on the raised bed so that we know what's actually being planted. Station 4, kids will actually start planting the seeds in the plants, and then hand traced wishing tree leaves will be in Station 5. We wanted to make sure that we catered to all of the learning styles that we work with at our school. Again, this will be on Wednesday from 9 o'clock until 12. We would love to have you there if you have time in your schedule. We are also going to have a back to school fashion show on this Friday, just to showcase school uniform pride. So students are going to just kind of, you know, they will be in their uniform, but, you know, we wanted them to showcase individuality and kind of showcase different ways you can dress up. And the kids use the term zhuzh up, the way that they dress to school for school. And so that will be on Friday as well. Ms. Knox, can I have you come off mute and talk about our fall fundraiser?
Good evening again. So last year we did the Joe Corby's Pizza fundraiser, and we raised about $1,400 for our first time doing a fundraiser. The kids really enjoyed it. So this year we're going to do it again. Hopefully we could double that. So the money will go to student activities, you know, things we need to do around the building. So it starts September 11th, ends October 7th, and the items will arrive to the school on the 7th, and the parents have to come and pick the items up to distribute them to the people that they sold them to. So if you want to sell something, I'm giving out the flyers on Wednesday, so you can come and get a brochure and you can sell to people to help our school.
Thank you, Ms. Knox. This is a copy of the September calendar. I will have Ms. Camford drop this in the chat. We are having a Spirit Week this week, so you can see tomorrow, Superhero Day. On Wednesdays, our National Day of Service. We're going to have a Sports Day on Thursday, and then we're going to have Dot Day on Friday. Next Sunday starts Hispanic Heritage Month, and so we are so excited to celebrate that, as we have about 25 families ranging from Venezuela. We have some from El Salvador and some from Peru. Actually, 2 students from Peru that started 2 days ago. And so we will celebrate from September 15th through October 15th as well. And when the October calendar is deployed, we will absolutely share it with you so that you can come and take a look at how we celebrate Hispanic cultures. And on the last slide, so our school-wide focus areas, we will continue to delve deeply with small group instruction as our tiered 1 approach, using data to drive instruction. For ELA, we're going to focus on the science of reading, which is basically different strategies on teaching students how to read. We're going to focus and hone in on the mathematical practices from Park. And one of the things that we're really super excited about is developing our teacher assistants. Our goal is for, if anybody walks into a classroom, to not be able to discern between the teacher and the TA. So we started a clinic this year with our TAs. We meet every Wednesday from 9:15 to 10 o'clock. It's a seminar that Ms. Knox, Ms. Carter, and I run weekly with our TAs. Ms. Carter, did you want to add anything to that?
So yes, we were adamant this year about really putting a focus on our teacher assistants. It always becomes something that's on our agenda during the in-service and during the summer when we're planning, and then we find somehow, some way that it drops the ball. So it has really helped them, because we've already got them in a point where they are beginning to learn how to lesson plan, as well as they are tasked with teaching 1 day a week. We prefer a Wednesday, but some of them, based on their class schedule, is choosing other days. But they will take the science or the social studies aspect of that classroom and begin to prepare and lead a 30-minute lesson. And so we're getting them really familiar and just kind of slowly but surely giving them the parts and breaking it down for them. They're, myself and Ms. Knox are available for them when they need them, so that when we finally do get to a point where we will observe them, because we have created their version of a Danielson framework for their observations that they will be prepared for. So they're excited about it. So every Wednesday from 9:15 to 10 o'clock in room 228.
And that concludes our presentation. If anybody has any questions that we can answer.
Actually, I do have a couple. So first, just especially for the edification of our new members, we want to make sure that we are providing data from last year to compare to this year's data. So for example, with the enrollment numbers, just want to be able to let them, see the difference that we've had year over year on that. Also, for the fundraiser, is there like an online link that you can send it? Because you said the flyer, but I know a lot of us can probably drop it in some type of social media group that we may have and allow them to, so that if you can get, perfect, you can get that out to us, that would be great.
Not a problem.
And then, and the last question I have is, how do you spell Juge? Juge up? How do you spell that?
I have no idea. I asked Tamar Braxton. I have no idea.
Right. No,
But we will have we will have the historical data for our enrollment for our next meeting, because it's not official until October. So Our goal is to ensure that our students stay with us, but a parent tomorrow could say, hey, I have 5 kids, I want to withdraw and go somewhere else. And so that will definitely impact our enrollment data. So we will have that historical data for you once it's been certified and approved with OSSI at our next meeting.
Go ahead and brag a little bit, Frank. Go ahead and brag just a little bit. Where are you this year compared to last year today?
So last year, we clocked in at 228. So we are more than 20 students above where we were last year. And I anticipate another 20 students enrolling before count date. So we're really excited about that.
And so to the new board members, this is when we opened the school many years ago. I mean, we were around 360, 380 when we started. COVID did a number on our school because we are one of the few schools in the district that buses all of its students. So we have kids that are coming from every ward in the District of Columbia, where most schools in DC are neighborhood schools, and the majority of their kids walk to the school building. Not only that, we are a school that is also a special education population. So of that, of our students that are being bused on the big buses that the Children's Guild provides, there's another anywhere between 10 to 14 OSSI buses that are bringing another half of our population to school that get door-to-door services due to their current IEP services. So when COVID hit, we went from, I do believe, 330 all the way down to like 190. After COVID, we bounced back up to about 206, which was I believe Frank's first year. Then we hopped back up to 228 and has done a phenomenal job, not just with the families that we were used to receiving, but we have had that were almost like refugees last year in the city due to families that were coming in from overseas. And we have a wonderfully diverse population right now, and the school is flourishing, and the staff should be extremely commended on the work that they have done, not just to increase enrollment, but just to really diversify the staff. And parents are doing their best to get their kids to school as opposed to sending them to another school, even though they have to come from all the way across the city. And some are even trying to figure out how to use a DC address because they have actually moved into PG County, right over the line. So just great job, staff, on creating a wonderful environment for students. And I just have to mention that handsome young man is just really he's just loving all the action right now.
Thanks,
and
Frank.
I am
He's coming after.
bilingual.
I was about to say, Mr. Medley, he's coming after your job.
But it does help that I speak Spanish, and so when families come, it's like, oh, there's somebody here who speaks Spanish. And we hired a bilingual TA this year, and we moved a bilingual teacher into the role of EL coordinator. So now there are 3 of us who can communicate with the families. And that's so important when you are sending a child to a school who is a refugee or just brand new from another country. I mean, it's scary, right? Think about coming here and not knowing the language, not knowing anybody, left your friends behind. And at least if we can communicate with each other, there's a breathing sensation. So we have retained all of our students who were at the Salvation Army last year, with the exception of 4, because they've moved to either like a different state, Virginia or New York, or to Montgomery County. And we've gained about 4 new families. So word is getting out that, that we embrace everyone, and, we're really excited about this. So thank you.
Francesca, when you mentioned about like the training of like the teacher aide, I feel like that's so empowering because then you're investing back in the teachers and then they feel valued, right? Because I feel like assistants especially always feel like they're doing so much and it goes so underseen every day. I love the fact that like the Children's Guild is like, oh, this makes, I don't know why I'm like about to well up because it's like, it's just so empowering because that's how you retain good people. And that's how you, when you invest in your educators, they will give back tenfold, right? We already give tenfold, but like when you feel seen and heard and valued, it just brings something to it. I think this is phenomenal. I'm gonna be like, can we do this for our school? Cause hello, this is great. And then I wanted to ask you, are they getting their, because they have like CEU, do they have like CEUs they have to meet too, or is it just for, you know, like how we have to have like our so many points for research? Do they have to have research anything?
Yeah.
So no, we just it's in-house and we're developing, and in this process we are researching and trying to establish relationships and partnerships with universities so
Okay.
that they and programs so that they can be able to we have a few of them who have already enrolled in a program through UDC, and so that's where we're definitely trying to go to make that connection with them. And then I just had discovered, and we kind of missed the deadline, so I'm going to have my eyes open it for next year. But OSSI also provides a program for
I literally was like, did you look at
yes.
the OSSI? Yeah.
Yes, that will do. But this cohort just started. So I just found out about it like a week or so ago. And so I'll keep my eyes open for the application window for the next thing, because again, they'll be able to go to UDC. They get the experience of teaching right in front. So that's how they get their credits. So they're already established in the classroom within our building, and then it's free. So if we can get them into that, so my eyes and ears will be open for the next cohort through OSSI.
I'm here for it. And like if in my days unfortunately match with you guys' days, like our off days or you guys' off days. But if any time I have free time, please reach out. I'm down to whatever you need help with, copies, a paper clip, whatever. I'm down to help with the things. I just think this is so incredible because like, gosh, I'm sure they're like, who wouldn't have loved to start, like I love those stories when you're like, I started as a teacher aide, now I'm a teacher, now you know what I mean, like you can build on that. This is how you build relationships. But like this is exciting. I'm excited. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
I'd like for Dr. Jackson, if I have another minute, to come off mute, and we also this year started with our special education clinics that she runs 2 days a week. Dr. Jackson, can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely, Frank Medley. Yes, so we run a special education clinic. It was something that I brought to Frank Medley and asked if I would be able to start the clinic. And what it does is it provides our teachers, TAs, whomever, to come and just like a regular clinic, you come and we go through the diagnosis and then we come up with a treatment. And so it gives our educators an opportunity to have a deeper dive. It is really personalized. So they have to sign up for the clinic and it's uninterrupted for them. And so we run the clinic typically when teachers have their planning time, but it gives them an opportunity to sit with me one-on-one, and we walk through the IEP process. We walk through how to read assessments. We walk through how to use resources. We go through lesson plans, and we talk through the data points to better help teachers better understand how we plan for students with the learning challenges, and so that they are better equipped. And so I'm happy to report that I have a teacher that comes every week faithfully to the clinic. He is right there, ready to go. But that warms my heart to know that we have an opportunity and we get to dialogue and be think partners in this process. Because what we do recognize, especially servicing our students within this population, is that it cannot be done in a silo. And the more we continue to pour and to educate and provide resources, the greater outcome is the students, right, and their success. And we just cannot do that without that. So it gives me an opportunity to kind of pour that knowledge into that. The big goal for the clinic will be that some of my seasoned teachers will be able to kind of walk through this process, and they will partner together so that we will have others leading the clinic once it kind of gets off the ground. But this is just kind of a pilot for me to see where it goes. But I am super excited that I've been given the opportunity to run the clinic and just to kind of see how this also helps students in the long run and educators alike.
On that note, Frank, do we still have that connection with Howard for the training or certification?
So we have a
piece?
partnership with GW. And so we're going to have our, I guess, 4th cohort, Mr. Daniels, graduate in the spring. But I'm looking at, again, changing it. If we can provide connections with like Bowie or with UDC, maybe changing the outcome now for our TAs so that they can work with this program to get their bachelor's degrees and for them to get certified to become teachers. So we're looking at kind of changing that trajectory, but nothing etched in stone just yet. But yes, we still have the connection with George
Washington.
GW.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember the GW connection, but at one point, I know that we were trying to establish something with Howard as well. I don't know if that.
So we work with Howard with the Legacy Project. So we'll resume that in November.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any
Great.
other
Any
questions?
Okay,
thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. We'll go to the next bullet point, which is going to be the updates and upcoming events from Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, so a little late in the game, but Monday we are having a golf tournament. The Guild is having a golf tournament at the Renditions Golf Course in Davidsonville. And so hopefully, well, it'll be a week from today. Hopefully the weather will be nice. So if anybody wants to come out, we'd love to have you, but we have I believe it's all full with teams. So beyond that, we don't really have any other scheduled events coming up immediately. But Frank, thank you for putting all your upcoming scheduled events. That's really helpful.
Excellent. Thank you, Hughes. The next bullet point on our agenda is the financial report from Mr. Lou Hubner.
Hi there. I'd like to share my screen if I may.
I will, while he's doing that, I will say, so Chris actually ended up, our previous CFO, Chris Zimmerman, ended up leaving the Guild in late June, early July. So Lou is standing in on his behalf. We have offered the CFO position to a person that is coming on board October 1st, if not before. So we've replaced that role, and they will be here at the next board meeting.
So I would like to apologize out of the gate that I'm following Mr. Zimmerman, who I assume you guys got to know very well, as did I, because I reported to Chris, and I'm perhaps you all miss him. I know I do as well. He was a fabulous individual, and you will see some of the flavoring in what I'm about to share with you guys. I followed his lead. So in any event, I would like to speak to you guys about our prior year actuals, as well as next year's budget. What to know about our prior year actuals is they are unaudited numbers. They will have, I'll say, nominal, insignificant wiggles from here. Our books are not fully closed. Our audit for the District of the DC Charter is about to begin in the first week of October. So in any event, we're not concerned about the audit. We believe our numbers are tight. So here we are. So this slide shows, and like I said, this has got the Zimmerman flair to it. It's got shows us what our operating revenues, expenses are. It goes down to change in net assets. Do you guys see my cursor? Okay, cool. So operating revenues, operating expenses, EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, depreciation, and amortization. We then show depreciation, change in net assets. So for the year that was just ended, we had a loss of $345,000 versus an anticipated budget of effectively flat. It was a $9,000 budget. And last year we lost $248,000. So in this year, we were favorable to budget on overall revenues, and that's tuition revenue as well as grant revenues. We were favorable by 4.7 to budget, and we were above last year's revenue by 11%. Operating expenses substantially exceeded what was budgeted, as well as last year. What's driving the operating expenses are predominantly wages as well as temp fees. We have, as we look to next year, you will see that we have addressed those elements. And also in this current year, we had a reduction of depreciation expense, and that had to do with an accounting change, which so the net loss was $345,000, and it was challenging. And so as we look forward, we actually see opportunities to make changes that will return us to profitability. Can I answer anything with regard to this previous year? Let me move to next year. So for the year that we're currently in, the budget this is the budget. Chris actually is the author of the budget. We had an assumed census of 245. As we heard from Frank, the census number moves from day to day. The report I had was a couple days old, and it showed a census of 250. Frank has indicated that today, the most current activity was 247. Tomorrow it's going to be 248. So in any event, the exciting news that I heard Frank say tonight is he expects that number to increase by 20 from where we are. And that, my friends, is going to breathe life into this budgeted P&L that will cause us to just have more capacity to have a more profitable year. In looking at the revenue rates, I saw a very modest increase that was assumed in terms of rates per child. We do have built in our budget a 3% COLA that goes into effect on January the 1st. Our payroll expenses have been adjusted to better align with our budgeted expenses, with the advent of if we have this incremental census, it's possible that we will need to go beyond. It's possible. Depends on how it lays out. We may be super efficient and not have to increase our staffing levels. We may need to, but we'll cross that bridge. And part of the problem that we had, and it was a significant difficulty with our results for last year, is we assumed we had too much grant revenue anticipated in last year. So we have right-sized the grant activity. And it's largely runoff of existing grants that are spilling into this current fiscal year. So we adjusted our grant revenue to better reflect what we actually anticipate will be occurring. So in terms of the numbers, the budgeted change in net assets or income is $253,000. And the free cash flow is, adding back the depreciation, brings us to $661,000 of positive cash flow. And again, we will, when we have the count day and it all works out in terms of, where students fall, we will be able to have a better sense. And it's exciting because it should be favorable for us as to what our year will ultimately look like. Happy to speak to budgetary questions.
Lou, I have a quick question. So in this model, did you adopt the new rates for the UPSFF that was adopted in June? Because I don't think that's calculated here.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
It's not. I know it's not.
Okay. So I think that was Mr. Dent 12.5%, I think, increase to the UPSFF that the DC Council men and women voted back on in June with new rates, and they haven't sent them out just yet.
That's good news.
Yes.
Very good news.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for that. Any other questions for Lou? Having heard none, we will move to the next bullet point on our agenda. Thanks so much for stepping in there, Lou, for us to provide that information.
You're most welcome.
The next bullet point is other business, and we'll start off with Mr. Daniels to talk about the charter renewal and other items.
So good afternoon, everyone. So as a part of the new work that I have been charged with doing will be really around looking to in the community, but help to diversify the funding that is coming in to the Children's Guild. So we are not so heavily dependent on the UPSF or just the grants that we received through OSSI. And some of the work that I have been doing, I have come across a lot of other grant opportunities that other charter schools are reaching out to, and building relationships with people that can kind of help guide me in a way to establish a relationship with organizations and with people that are doing similar work, so that we can create a much more diverse portfolio to be able to start to build a stronger foundation from a funding perspective. So we are not just so reliant upon what we are getting year over year, and it's just based on the enrollment of the students. Being that we are one of the few schools in the District of Columbia that serve such a high risk, such a high special education population, we are really a gem in the district that there are funding groups that are apparently out here that are looking to support schools and staff and students such as what I am going to be doing, along with helping to figure out how we can begin to fill some gaps that we see that are starting to form in the District of Columbia in general. Some of you may have heard that the Public Charter Board, a week before school started for most charter schools, closed Eagle Academy, which was one of few charters in the district that specifically caters to early childhood education. And losing those two schools that were holding seats for over 300 kids that were slated to go from pre-K 3 to third grade, it leaves a huge gap in an area where so many families are dependent upon those pre-K 3 class school. So one of the things that we are going to be looking to do as we enter into our renewal phase, that we're going to be coming across, or we'll be sitting in front of the Public Charter Board in December for, will be around, I've been talking with people at the Alliance and working with folks at the Charter Board to see if we can add amending our charter to include pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 in our census for the upcoming school year. It is something that we have been asked since we've opened. Parents are really looking to have their students be able to come to our school so they can be here from pre-K 3 all the way up through 8th grade. But I know one of the things that we are going to have to do, again, is to it's another funding thing, which is just around being able to get our building taken care of. So in order to have pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 students, we have the classrooms that are set up appropriately for those students with bathrooms inside of the classrooms. Where we are really struggling right now is around being able to put forth we don't have a playground, and without having an outdoor space and for those kids to specifically be able to play, I know what the Charter Board is going to already say. So again, that's going to be a big part of the work as we're leading up to the renewal and being able to diversify in that way, is to at least come up with a collaboration or work with a company that will be able to ensure that we'll be able to get the back of our building taken care of to the point where we have that playground space to be able to cater to these students that really just need a place to go to school. We're also, with those schools that are closing, just looking at making connections with through PCSB, with figuring out what they're doing with the existing materials that are at those facilities. Ms. Knox, Dr. Jackson, and I were at one of the locations, and they were highly, tech savvy. There are iPads all over the place throughout both of the locations, several materials and books and things of that nature that we may be able to utilize for our students. So again, just trying to continue to make these connections out in the community, continue to work with the Alliance and PCSB to figure out how we can make sure that if it doesn't happen by December, which it is completely possible because the turnaround is extremely quick, we would just have to get on to another charter board meeting to have our charter amended, possibly later in the spring, but hopefully it would be done prior to the next My School DC run when open enrollment starts. So we will be able to open up our enrollment to pre-K 3 all the way through 8th grade. So that is the huge goal for the school, is to really stretch our legs into that pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 realm, to also be able to get that playground done, which will be a great space for not just our pre-K kids, but also our elementary school kids to be able to utilize, so they're not just playing on the parking lot. So that's the goal, and we have just a group meeting with myself, Hughes, Frank, and Renisha upcoming in preparation for you know, the legwork that we're going to have to do in preparation for the charter renewal. Rob will let you know how that will impact you, because you know, you'll have to sit with us as we sit for the renewal, and we'll keep the board you know, informed around any other support or information that we'll need when that process gets closer.
Thanks, Brian. What happened to the previous playground things that we were trying to do?
So we can reach out to that guy, but what I feel like right now is what we had looked at before is it's a great playground, but it's also a great amount of money that is really more beneficial being utilized inside of the building. Now, again, one of the things that I've come across in the past couple of months is that there are just a ton of grants that are out here that will help us to be able to get that playground space. So at Eagle Academy, one of the things that we've seen is that the Wizards, the Mystics, like dealing with I just lost the name of what's the group that manages the Monumental Sports, does a lot of work with creating schools. There's actually 3 playgrounds that they put up and that are at Eagle Academy right now that are not even going to be utilized. So working with a connection of mine to get, just because we actually had a great connection with them a couple of years ago when we did the whole shoe deal with Russell Westbrook. But you know, a lot of things have changed. People have moved out of positions. But I've talked to the old CFO, and he's trying to put me back in contact with somebody at Monumental Sports to be able to refire up that wheel, because they are a great connection, and they will be a great resource to utilize to get us a playground that will not, you know, cost us over $500,000 like that last project was going to.
And then have you been in touch with previous board member Cassandra at all? Because she had a lot of connections with grants and sourcing of different.
Yeah, so I spoke to Cassandra this summer, actually, you know, prior to us creating those last couple of meetings, you know, when we were shifting the board member list, and told her that I would be reaching out to her. So definitely I'm going to reach back out to her, because she comes up 2 to 3 times a month to see her family. So we'll definitely link up with her. And thank you for that reminder. That is something that I totally forgot about.
Any other questions for Brian? Is there any other business that needs to be brought to the board? Open the floor for any comments. Having heard none, we are going to move to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
A motion.
Can I get a second of that motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Angelo. This meeting is now going to be called to an end. Thank you, everybody, for participating. We'll see you at the next meeting. Please be on the lookout for those emails.
Thanks, team.
Have a great evening.
Everyone,
Thanks,
have a great
everybody.
evening. Have a great week.
Bye, y'all.